This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin today with the very latest on Hurricane Fiona. It strengthened into a Category 4 storm Wednesday after devastating Puerto Rico, then lashing the Dominican Republic and the Turks and Caicos Islands. And now it could squeeze past Bermuda later this week. The storm is being blamed for at least 4 deaths in the Caribbean as of Wednesday afternoon. Christian Benavides has the latest.
The tropical islands of Turks and Caicos are the latest to feel Fiona's wrath. The storm passed close to the British territory's capital, Grand Turk, Tuesday morning. The Dominican Republic is cleaning up after taking a direct hit Monday. The storm battered Puerto Rico on Sunday, plunging the entire island into darkness. More than 30 inches of rain unleashed massive floods that swept away bridges, washed out roads, and swamped homes.
How are the people of Puerto Rico doing right now?
Well, our people are trying to recover.
Felix Cabrera is in San Juan. He leads the humanitarian organization Send Puerto Rico.
We're still strong and trying to recover. Grateful for the support of our brothers and sisters in the state, in mainland.
About 80% of Puerto Rico is still without electricity. Crews are scrambling to repair the island's fragile power grid that Hurricane Maria destroyed on this very day 5 years ago.
We're fixing the grid. We're not just going over there and clipping one branch and that's it. We're making a more permanent fix.
But residents are storm weary. Blackouts are common. More than 3,000 homes are still covered in blue tarps.
Our people has PTSD after Hurricane Maria. We are trying to rebuild again, start from scratch. This is who we are.
The National Hurricane Center says Fiona is expected to strengthen to a Category 4 storm as it approaches Bermuda Friday. It is not expected to threaten the U.S. mainland.
And relief is on the way to Puerto Rico. FEMA, along with the American Red Cross and other U.S. humanitarian and volunteer groups, are gathering supplies and making plans to travel to the storm-ravaged areas. And as Puerto Rico continues in the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona, lead national correspondent for CBS This Morning, David Bagno, returned to the island to bring national attention to the crisis that is happening now as the territory continues to recover those recovery efforts from Hurricane Maria 5 years ago. He spoke with our USVI News' Maricel Rivera about the current electric situation, which is leaving the majority of the island right now without electricity.
As we remember the passing of Hurricane Maria exactly 5 years ago through Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans have been dealt another difficult hand with Hurricane Fiona.
To the no, a cup of coffee, un pedacito de pan, good conversation. This is your home too, sir. Thank you.
Just a bit less than 5 years ago, CBS lead national news correspondent for CBS Morning, David Bagno, life also changed, and he is now considered Puerto Rico's champion, and he continues to keep the island front and center and denounces corruption, lack of infrastructure, and he continues the cry for help from the citizens for a decent power system.
We're people prepared. Puerto Ricans have well educated me when it comes to realizing, as one woman said, we've learned not to rely on the U.S. government consistently and more on ourselves. So to answer that question, I would say Puerto Ricans, I think, were as well prepared themselves as anyone could be. It still is disappointing. I mean, here's the reality. Hurricane Maria was a Category 5 and it knocked out power to the entire island. Fiona was a Category 1 and it knocked out power to the whole island. The question is going to be, how fast can they get the power back on? What I'm hearing from officials within the government is if LUMA can do it within 3 to 5 days, the governor will probably declare it a massive success for LUMA Energy. If they can't, one woman said to me, there's going to be hell to pay. And so now literally everybody in the States and everybody here on the island is waiting to see what has this company that's been around for 15 months done to prepare, and will they deliver?
From Puerto Nuevo, Puerto Rico, this is Maricel Rivera.
And now you're about to hear David Bagno's latest report, and Puerto Rico's governor predict how soon power across the island may be restored. David Bagno reports from Salinas, a coastal town in the south overrun by immense rainfall and huge storm surges. The water is mostly gone. Now there's just mud, debris, and heartbreak.
It's been 1 day since Hurricane Fiona's fierce winds and torrential rain finally left Puerto Rico, and people are now just beginning to grapple with widespread damage and no power. We flew to Lajas on Puerto Rico's southwestern edge, where we met Olga Vega. She took cover in her bathroom as wind gusts topped 90 miles per hour and tore part of her tin roof right off.
How are you doing emotionally?
The process has been very hard, but I have to stay strong.
No water, no power, no roof.
No water, no power.
To the east of Lajas in Salinas, we caught up with Puerto Rico's Governor Pedro Pierluisi, who predicted that the power is going to be on soon.
A substantial majority of the customers will get their power back by the end of the day tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not talking 100% at all.
Near where the governor surveyed damage, one farmer in Salinas called this the worst catastrophe in 20 years. Plantains, bananas, all underwater, ruined. Evidence of Fiona's path is everywhere, and across the island, homes and businesses are destroyed. 5 years after Hurricane Maria killed nearly 3,000 people and knocked out power to 1.5 million residents. Now a good portion of the island is in the dark again. Critical updates to the island's power grid since Maria are continuing. Luma Energy took over that project 15 months ago, and since they did, outages are fewer, but they're lasting longer, according to officials.
And the reality is nothing has happened in terms of rebuilding, right? How long do you expect that to take?
We are rebuilding the grid every day, Dave. Every day we make improvements.
Back in Salinas, 79-year-old Carmen Arroyo is once again dealing with no power and damage from a storm surge that flooded this cancer patient's home. You know, we're just a 5-minute drive from where she lives, and we came here to find this home in a sinkhole. The woman who lives here was not here when the storm made landfall, but when she came back and saw this. It's a house she built 3 years ago, now ruined. You know, Puerto Ricans are now dealing with debris and mud. That's about all that's left. And a lot of storm-driven PTSD. More than one person has said, even though we survived the storm and it wasn't the same size as Maria, the PTSD with it was all too real. David Begno, CBS News, along the southern coast of Puerto Rico in the municipality of Salinas.
And again, the governor predicting most power restored by Wednesday evening. Again, that's just a prediction. We'll keep you posted. And with so many people in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and now the Turks and Caicos all struggling, aid is crucial right now as millions of people are in a dire situation. So if you'd like to help those affected in Puerto Rico or anywhere else, here are a few tips from the Better Business Bureau to protect yourself from possible scammers.
As the damage grows, so does the need in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Fiona left a massive path of destruction.
We are still in the zone of danger and not out and about.
As charities get operations running to address the catastrophe, the Better Business Bureau says be cautious because scammers are also looking to take advantage of the dire situation.
People want to help in any way they can, and sadly, scammers take advantage of that vulnerability to deceive donors.
Grassroots organizations on the island are taking donations to help the more than 1 million people still without electricity and hundreds of thousands without running water. Organizations like Direct Relief, which is a BBB accredited group with volunteers on the ground, are helping hospitals forced to run on generators.
The comprehensive cancer hospital's generator failed, so they had to, in the middle of the storm, move patients from one hospital to the other.
So before you donate to any charity, the BBB has these 3 tips to protect you and make sure your money doesn't end up in the wrong hands. 1, do your research and donate to charities directly instead of crowdfunding sites.
If they don't have boots on the ground, how are they going to get your donation to the people who need it the most? Look for experienced charities that can provide fast relief.
2, use a credit card and avoid sending money via peer-to-peer apps. And finally, pay attention to red flags like copycat websites and hard-to-believe claims.
The Better Business Bureau says you can verify charities on their website, bbb.org. The Turks and Caicos has been bracing for Fiona's wrath. Our USVI News' Deandra Hamilton reports.
The Turks and Caicos Islands are under hurricane warning as a result of killer Hurricane Fiona.
That at 12 a.m. this morning, the Turks and Caicos was issued a hurricane warning, which means that hurricane conditions can be expected within the next 36 hours. As a result of the recent warning that has been issued for the Turks and Caicos Islands, we have met to discuss and agree several actions that we would like to update the public on.
Those actions include a national lockdown by Monday night.
And so those 3 islands against Grand Turk, South Caicos, and Salt Caicos should certainly get their, make sure I have all the precautions and everything done and completed by 3 p.m. and off the road by 5 p.m. For the other islands, that's Middle Caicos, North Caicos, Middle Caicos, North Caicos, Providenciales, and all the Keys, to have everything wrapped up by 5 o'clock and off the road by 7 p.m.
The weather is changing rapidly, and with the trajectory of the storm cutting so close to the archipelago, there will be tropical storm force conditions felt in a matter of hours. It meant the airport had to be closed. The hospitals are on emergency mode with regular operations ceased. Seaports are closed. So are schools and government offices. The TCI Premier and Governor are out of country now in London for this. The nation as an overseas territory on holiday on Monday to mark the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. It, however, did not stop the Premier making an appearance at the National Emergency Operations Center press conference.
And I believe if due to all that has been told, advised to be done, I do believe that we will come through the storm unscathed.
DeAndre Hamilton reporting.